Hi everyone, this is Danai, and in today's video I want to talk about a subject that I've actually never talked about on my channel before, but it is something that in my musician's life and in my everyday practice and concert life definitely is a big theme and something that I think about very often and something that has developed a lot throughout the year. And what I want to talk about is the relationship between soloist and conductor. Now, as a pianist, the most common way that you're going to be playing with an orchestra is probably not from inside the orchestra, from within the orchestra, but in front of the orchestra as a soloist. So it is definitely something that we are very much confronted with, especially if you're studying piano or if you're playing a little more intensely, or if you're, of course, looking to become a professional pianist. You will encounter those situations where you are placed in front of an orchestra as a soloist and have the situation where there's the conductor. And I know that from my side, this is something that didn't come naturally to me at all. And it is something that I really had to work on and that I had to get used to. So I want to talk a little bit about that because now, many years later, I'm in a place where I feel very comfortable and where I absolutely love playing piano concertos, but this wasn't always the case. So I think this might be an interesting video for you to watch. Of course, also if you are an instrumentalist that plays a different instrument but are in this concerto situation often. So if you're interested in hearing my thoughts, then keep on watching. So when we play with orchestra, obviously as the soloist, you have practiced your concerto a lot. You have a very clear idea and a very clear vision of your interpretation and what you want it to sound like. And you come to your first rehearsal with the orchestra. I still remember the first time that I played with orchestra. I was quite young. I was about, I think, maybe 12 years old. And I had obviously prepared my concerto very, very well. I knew exactly what I wanted to play in which way. And then we started playing together. And of course, the conductor was older than me. I mean, at that point, all of the musicians were older than me. So he had a different idea in parts, in some details. And we started playing. And I remember that I had the feeling inside of me that I needed to adapt my interpretation in order to fit his. I just want to mention that this is not at all anything that he did. It was just my feeling and my insecurity, of course, in that moment, and my lack of experience, of course. So I remember very distinctly that he had quite a fast tempo and I actually wanted to play it a little bit slower, and that I was going with his fast tempo but feeling extremely uncomfortable, because if you play something faster than what you feel comfortable in, all your feelings of security go out the window. And that's what was happening to me. I was feeling rushed, but I also somehow didn't feel like I could, well, first of all, communicate that I want a slower tempo. And second of all, that I could somehow just show it with my playing. So these already are two very, very important things. Of course, this was a lesson to me. And yes, the concert was fine, but I didn't feel comfortable. I didn't enjoy the experience. So this was a lesson to me, and a lesson that I would also learn throughout the next decade, I want to say. Because very often when I played with orchestra, I had this feeling of the conductor is someone, let's say, high up there. Of course, because I started young, they were usually older men. Somehow this also contributed to the feeling that I had of, okay, this person is higher than me, he's above me, so I need to kind of go with what they are doing instead of just saying what I want to do. And this very often resulted in me not feeling as free as I would when playing a recital on stage, for example. And then came the first aha moment for me. And that moment was when I listened to an interview that some big famous pianist was giving. And this person said, playing a piano concerto is like playing chamber music in a bigger format. When I heard that statement, it really rang true to me. And I thought, yes, that's exactly what it's supposed to be. because playing chamber music for me was something extremely comfortable. You know, in the chamber music rehearsal, it's different from the orchestral rehearsal. You rehearse longer, everyone says their opinion, you say what you want exactly, and in the end you have a result that feels very comfortable. And to me, somehow this chamber music setting was a very natural one, and I felt very comfortable whenever playing chamber music. And I thought to myself, of course, I just need to imagine that this entire orchestra with the conductor in front is nothing else than, let's say, a piano quartet trio or a piano quintet. Of course, it's a little bit different because you don't have as much flexibility and you're not playing with every single musician as you are when you're playing a piano trio or a piano quartet, for example. But just thinking about it as chamber music and seeing the conductor as an equal partner made a huge mental difference to me. And that is already my second point. So the first point is to feel as if it is chamber music of a bigger format and not solo plus orchestra. And my second point is to really feel that the conductor and you are equals, because that's really what it is. You form the interpretation together. I know that there are many theories of, oh, should the conductor follow the soloist if there's a disagreement, or should the soloist follow the conductor if there's a disagreement? You can do whatever you want there. I think it really depends on the situation. It depends on the repertoire. It really depends on the circumstances. Ideally, you form an interpretation together. There's no one that's higher than the other person. You're together as if it were a chamber music setting, and you are forming this piece together, and you come with your ideas and your inspiration, and the conductor comes with their ideas and their inspiration, and then you form something amazing, an amazing musical result together. And as soon as I started thinking about the soloist-conductor relationship in those terms, things really changed for me. And I started getting so excited about rehearsals and about concerto performances, because I really felt that it was about making music and about forming an interpretation, as opposed to somehow being pressed into an already existing frame. My third tip, and one that has also been very helpful to me, is to not only focus on the conductor. Yes, of course, the conductor leads the orchestra, and in a way, for you as the soloist is, let's say, the representative of the orchestra. So if you're playing a cadenza and you are checking when the orchestra needs to enter, of course, you're going to show the conductor. I'm going to be trilling at the end of my cadenza, and then I'm going to signal to the conductor, now is the time. Or if I have an entrance, for example, that is with the orchestra, I'm going to look at the conductor and he's gonna show me when to come in. So yes, in a way he leads the orchestra. But what has helped me a lot is to actually, when it fits with the music, when there are certain passages, certain solos in certain instruments, to also really focus on the musicians themselves that are playing. So let's say a very common situation in a Mozart concerto is that piano and oboe, for example, have some beautiful melody together. Or maybe the clarinet is finishing something and then the piano takes over. In situations like that, I will really make eye contact with the musicians sitting in the orchestra, really listen as if it were 100% a chamber music setting, and play together with them. That to me takes the feeling away of, ooh, the big intimidating orchestra and conductor, and brings it back to wonderful, beautiful chamber music where everyone is making music together. So really, whenever I can, I focus on concrete musicians of the orchestra whenever it makes sense. Sometimes you really have long passages of dialogue with one of the instruments. I really try to play with them directly. Of course, I'm not trying to exclude the conductor. That goes without saying. I'm not going around the conductor. It's just an extra layer. Of course, I'm always playing with the conductor, but then on top of that, I'm also playing and connecting with the musicians that are playing with me in that moment. And my last tip that I want to give you is that if there is a passage in a concerto that is very challenging or that you are a little worried about, then develop a strategy where you feel secure with it. For me, usually the strategy is to take some time, or to maybe kind of expand the phrase while taking time in order to really feel secure in what I'm playing, and just go to the conductor, be very open about it, and just say, in bar so-and-so, I need some extra time. Finished. Don't try to power through it. Or I remember I used to have these thoughts of, oh, I really need to play this in time so that no one notices that this is a passage that might be a little bit uncomfortable for me, things like that. That's all stupid nonsense. Just say, I need some time in those bars, and then it's fixed. No one will tell you, no, I'm not going to give you that time. So just say that you need the time, take the time, problem solved. You will feel very, very comfortable. So just be open about the things that you need as the soloist of this performance. This is your interpretation. After all, you have the most important part in it. You are playing the most. Your instrument is presented during this concerto. So do whatever you need in order to make it a great interpretation for you. And nowadays, I have to say that playing concertos is probably maybe even my favorite thing to do. There was a time where I really preferred recitals over concertos, but now I really love playing concertos. It's so much fun. It's such a beautiful musical experience, and it's so special when you're sitting at the piano and you have this sound of the orchestra on your left that is just coming and filling you up, and you are feeling these vibrations together. This really is a very unique experience that you only get when you play a concerto. So I'm very glad to say that now I really feel secure and comfortable, and I love working with all kinds of different conductors. And this is why I wanted to share my strategies, because this wasn't always the case, in the hopes of helping some of you if you're experiencing similar things or having similar thoughts. Let me know what you think about this. Let me know if you have been in the same situations that I have been in and what your strategies were out of that. I will be very interested in reading your comments. If you enjoyed this video, please leave it a like and subscribe to my channel. That would help me a lot. And I will see you again in my next video next week. Bye.